Yes, 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 yes. Welcome. Yes, welcome to another stream, another edition here at the Chaos Rain Show. I am Chaos Rain here, one and only. And tonight, it is time, gentlemen, to go in and have our way with this simp, the one they call Derrick Jaxn. But before I give you the details and start this show off, make sure you follow me on the many social media platforms as follows. Follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. Add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. Also, follow me on Rumble, or I should say, join my Rumble page or channel on Rumble. And also join Discord service of the Chaos Rain Show as well. Trust me, you won't regret it. I think right now with Discord, I've been around a few people's Discords, and I've noticed that with Discord especially, some people have started slowly made the process of shutting down some of the Discords. For what reason, I don't know why. I mean, Discord is a wonderful platform if used properly, personally. But other than that, I'm not sure why people don't use Discord to its full extent, in my opinion. As you know, I did not put in the description. I apologize. I will put it as the stream continues. But for those that's not familiar, please join Discord service of the Chaos Rain Show. Also, you can also catch some of the audio and maybe some visuals on Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, etc. On the podcast side of things. And I'm trying to look at some things right now. Wow, these guys put some weird stuff. Oh wow, this looks like his service down. He might have could kicked me out. I'm just checking some things, guys, before I get started. As you know, as the music was playing, I was just getting things settled. All right, looks like I got everything squared away. Let me see if I forgot anything. Oh yeah, I forgot. Also, I always highly advise to everybody to leave a comment, and also if you can't, leave a like on the videos that you might have missed, or just give a normal response. All engagement is accepted here on the Chaos Rain Show. There is no such thing as weak or loose engagement, but nonetheless, please be engaged by leaving a comment. It helps very well with the algorithm once people are starting to comment on a lot of these videos. So please, guys, don't be no stranger. Don't be hesitant. Just leave a comment. I mean, I look forward to reading your works or your feedback on the comic section. You know me. I like to go by and always see what's going on, how people feel, and what's their views on the content up to this point. And so I'm going through some things. Where is just hold on, guys. I'm just doing some things right now. All right. And what else I have here? All right. Check this. All right. I'm sending some last message. Okay, look like we're all set now. Yep, we're all set now. So, and as you know, and before I read your super chat, Salty Boss, let me acknowledge everybody that's in the chat already. I see Wrench Turner in the house. What's good, Wrench Turner? As he shares it. I see DOD sharing this. Welcome, DOD. And I see Culture Invasion Podcast. And I see the eyeballs emojis. I'm not sure if you have a YouTube channel, Culture Invasion Podcast. I hope so. Anywho, first super chat by Salty Balls. You know, Salty Balls, I might do you this, brother. I noticed another brother was sharing your content after you posed a donation. I might start doing that for you because you're a man that's very consistent in the space, supporting all the content creators, which a man of your stature, a very productive man, a well-established man. And for those that is not aware, Salty Balls has a Machismo TV. And that deals with all the daily reactions. No bias, nothing like that. And trust me, that channel is growing. So if you're not familiar of the Machismo TV, I would highly advise y'all go over there and check it out. This is the only channel I know that will play in the after hours. As you know, Chaos Reign plays around these times, but you know, the person that's really out there from sundown to when the sun rises is Machismo TV. So you know that's the only thing I'm gonna leave out. But don't worry, Salty. You know, I like I said, I'll find some of the video and probably promote it every time you put the thing out, just for a pause in the conversation. And I see Culture Invasion come back again. All right, yes, yeah. And like always, guys, I'm not gonna be able to look periodically in the chat room from time to time. Once I get started, I will acknowledge what's going on so I don't leave y'all on the loop. You get me? Wait, let me see. Chanel. And eventually, as the chat room grows a little bit better, I will have to add some more moderators, and I'll have to give instructions how to moderate. So please be patient. For those that is always here, you might be surprised to find you might have wrench. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know. And normally when I give the wrench, I give you instructions how to go about on this channel because I want this channel to be engaging. All right. So I think I got everything. So I'm gonna have to check everything as I miss. But no further ado, let's get started on here. And let me use my other phone device so I can know what's going on here because I have to follow the chat room. Tonight's subject. These are my confessions. This is my confessions. All that you know that song from Usher. Well, it looks to me Mr. Simp Jackson has some confessions to the public because he has responded to all the allegations. Well, no, it's not allegations. It's really man was slinging some things and, you know, pregnating the community, you know, blowing field chicks' backs out. You know, he was doing his thing like any man, you know. He's exploring and soling his own royal oaks. Can't knock him from that. I mean, I know some dudes will sit there, get mad and say, well, you know, he should have been at least honest with it. I said, well, why he wants to be honest? Is he a man? Is he not? Doesn't he have the right? Because he makes the money, even to the point that now he is, unfortunately, that Negro that has that really women are gravitating, that want to give them not only their private parts, but they want to give them their mouth, and they use their mouth very lovely and wise to please the male ego. So no further ado, let us begin. Oh, and I forgot to put the banners. My apologies. And now, you know, since this brother is a Christian and he loves his work, and I gotta give credit to the man of Future Wife Club on YouTube. The man, if he doesn't hit 1 million subscribers by 2024, I'll be laughing. But I will say this man has put out some pretty decent content. I give him credit. So no further ado, let us begin, guys. and turn your mics up loud. And I will drop the link in maybe 30 to 40 minutes during stream to have y'all, interact and give your feedback. So let's begin, guys. And like always, through the chaos reign, fair use.
On into it. This will be a 2-part series. I'll run both of them consecutively one day after the next. So without further ado, welcome to the Dear Future Wifey podcast. My new homie, Derrick Jaxn.
What's going on, brother?
Derrick, listen, man, people been saying, when are you going to come on the podcast?
When I'm going to come on any podcast up until recently.
So what made you decide to go do it?
I'm not really big on coming and doing interviews and talking about myself, but this one is a little bit different because it involves, things that kind of hit closer to home. So I felt like I could contribute something to the conversation. If it's going to be had, I think it's best if it's had with both sides of a story, and one day whenever my children do see mommy and daddy talking about this, I want them to see where we both stand and hopefully how we both resolve things. So that was it, man.
No, actually, your children are going to see the fuckery that has been going on for the first decade of you and your wife in regards all the entanglements, all the all the fun, and I mean fun loosely, all the drama, hell, the arguing and bickering. Your children are going to see it all, and they're only going to see it all because of the power of social media. And because of this, I always tell people, and I advocate, if you're an adult, try the best of your ability to keep as much of your business off of social media as possible. And when I say possible, you're going to put in some work to make that a reality, because it's not easy keeping what you do off the internet where people will not know what's going on. And the reason why I say is because we live right now in a lockdown, highly surveillance, quote unquote, I think they call it police state. And as technology reaches its highest apex, it's going to be very difficult to really operate without the assistance of technology, knowing every little bit of move you do, including Google, quote unquote, fresh opinion. Anyway, fair use.
Say mommy and daddy. So your ex-wife or current wife, I know y'all going through whatever y'all going through. Danae was on the podcast. A lot of times people, when I did the episode, I was laughing a lot on the episode. She has this funny wit. She has this I said this little Seinfeld humor.
Yeah.
Was that something that attracted you to her at the very beginning?
Yeah, she had a sense of humor since the beginning, man. You wouldn't think it because she's kind of an introvert.
Right.
So she doesn't feel comfortable talking to new people often, at least she didn't, or in big groups. But like once she gets comfortable or when she feels like she can trust you, she opens up, man, and she's hilarious.
and so that's what happened in my pre-interview with her. I was talking to her. I was like, this girl is hilarious. This girl is funny. So we did on the episode, a lot of people's like, they're talking about serious stuff and they're laughing about it. Why are they? And she was like, Lateris, if you weren't laughing, I wouldn't have been able to do 2.5 hours of an interview with you. It'd have been too heavy. I like the fact that you got my humor. And I said, I bet you that's something that Derrick found attractive in her at the very beginning.
Among other things, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
We say other things like what?
Man, first off, when I first saw her, all I knew was what she looked like. You know? So pretty face, nice shape, all that stuff. But I like that she was kind of like me in terms of like when you look at her, she's not the stereotypical thick, cute black girl, at least, this at 19 years old.
Right.
And when people looked at me, they felt like, oh, he's a jock. And, I think you said that in the interview, matter of fact, which is not bad. But, at the time I was fighting a lot and stuff like that. But
you said you were fighting a lot?
Yeah, man. I was just, knucklehead, man. It's 19 years old. But beyond the surface, though, I'm a lover. I'm kind of soft. I like R&B music. I read romance novels at this point. I write poetry.
You was doing that at 19?
19 years old, man. So
doesn't Derrick sound like a hopeless romantic? Don't y'all get that vibe or feeling? Do y'all get that vibe? I'm feeling he's some type of hopeless romantic dude. I mean, I'm not saying a dude should be what they call quote unquote romantic, but goddamn, you're doing too much, bro. You have to be rugged with a lot of women, especially the Western women today. You can't be just soft. I mean, a lot of women will look at you as soft. a simp. But like I said, if you're over if you're like roughly over 6'3", which Derrick is like 6'5", you get away with it. If you're not fat, you get away with it. And to Wrench's turn, yeah, he's very freaky indeed. Wrench, very freaky. Wait, all right. And Wrench writes, he's still second-handed pander. Yes, I would say more. He's more of the first wave pander. But like I said, how we know already. All right. All right, let's continue with the fair use.
So like that version of me that's like, okay, it's not what you see is not necessarily what you get. It's the exact same thing with her. You know, she's not stereotypical. She's like Taekwondo and, you know, Justin Timberlake and stuff you wouldn't necessarily think, man. But all of that is what drew me to her. It's like my authentic self just felt safe and at home with her.
How do you feel today? I want to check on you as a man. How do you feel as a man?
I feel really good, man. Better every day, but I feel like it's a lot of gratitude these days.
A lot of people wouldn't be able to identify with what you may go through on an emotional standpoint, especially have created a platform as large as as large as you created, and then feel the world turn on you. How did you internalize that?
Honestly, man, being everybody's favorite ain't really been my portion my whole career. I mean, at some point, I mean, now it's more legitimate because it's behind something I actually did. But in the very beginning, I knew pissing some people, I'm trying to talk crazy. Pissing some people off was going to be a price I was going to have to pay.
You knew that at the very beginning?
Very beginning. And then, you know, before all of this, there was some like false rumors. At one point, people thought Danae was white because I showed a picture briefly. I posted my baby girl, my first daughter, Marley, and her hand was wrapped around my finger, and it was so light-skinned. They said, oh, he only dates white women. And I lost followers. I'm talking about it was going viral, all the YouTubers. So honestly, man, since then, I already knew like, okay, people online, they're going to have their thoughts or what have you, and you can't see yourself through that lens. So I really haven't internalized that so much.
Now, I'm not sure why will a lot of black women will look at this man because he is very tall and he fits the aesthetic to a lot of women, including sisters, that they always have to conclude that this brother could be having a white woman as either a girlfriend or wife. I tell you, man, black women be what's the word? Dick watching a lot of men what they do with their phallus. This is the form of what they call dick policing. Now, I would say to ladies, so if he screwed a non-black woman, so what? Did you get him? I mean, always whoever gets to the finish line wins. Now, mind you, I don't promote interracialism, just a side note, but for the sake of this conversation, as you see here, if you already assume that this man might be in another relationship with another race woman, then you lost, sweetie. You should be possibly put yourself in a position to be the first. Always. Anything second to that, I mean, you're playing catch up. But like I said, most women don't want to compete nowadays for the men like him that became the 1% in regards to the money and actual height. Let me read what's in the one guy said absolutely. Next one, Pander is in his DNA because he grew up as household women and cried for attention. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Fair use, fair use.
A lot of times people, I saw my brother, Willie Moore Jr., he posted a snippet of you about the interview that you were doing with him. That's when this dropped, that would have dropped 3 days ago. And I read the comments. It was like, why are you giving this brother a platform? Why would you do this? And all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
And first, when I read it, I was like, now if I do this interview with them, are they gonna feel the same way? I was like, no, like you said, it's a more balanced approach. I had Danae on here. It's only fair to have you on here as well. But not even on that. But even in 2020, you checked your DMs. I reached out to you before all this stuff started imploding.
One of the few.
Yeah, and I reached out to you because I always want to have conversations with black men because in the from your platform standpoint, the stuff that you were telling and helping black women with was facts. It was no lies told.
Yeah.
What a lot of men took gripe about is that they like, oh.
I got uncovered that. What do you mean what he was saying on social media as facts? I'm confused. Can this brother explain this? What do you mean facts? What was so factual, guys, in the chat room that Derrick Jaxn really spit out throughout the first 5 to 11 years since he's been doing content on social media? What facts has he laid out? I'll wait. And as y'all figure and give your answer in the chat room or in the comment section, make sure you hit the like button, share the stream, and also support the channel, leave a super chat or Cash App. Wherever choice you pick, all money will be accepted. Let's continue. Fair use, fair use.
Not only are you telling the secrets or whatever, but they kind of felt like you were pandering to black women for your benefit. What would you say about that?
Well, we kind of have this bro code, and it's got us in the chokehold. And the bro code is all about having a man's side no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter if we wrong or what have you. And I think personally it's created a generation of coddled men that can't take correction from anybody, no matter how soft it is or balanced it is. So when I'm saying all of this, of course there's different layers to it. Some of them think, it's because he wants vagina, because he wants money or what have you. But man, I was raised by a single mother around 2 sisters. Naturally, I lean towards the woman's point of view on things. Anything else would be disingenuous. And it's not that everything that I'm saying is necessarily right, but it's how I see things. And then if you take from that, just say.
See, that's the danger. That's the danger. And this is why we as men, I gotta be honest, I'm gonna be hard tonight. Find it possible to get control, take away, and get possession of your sons away from these women. God willing, and I'm hoping, and there are brothers out here, brothers, if you look for guidance or counsel or some way to, if you're in a bind with a so-called baby mama, especially, and you and her are no longer together, it is your sole rightful duty to save your children, especially your sons, and snatch them away from that chick. I've always said this, and I will say this once again, constantly. To a lot of black women did not like this. I did a stream on this. You gotta find my channel. I said, please, I would say, ladies, give your sons to the father. I got some pushback in that message because majority of you women today do not want to relinquish power or relinquish control or a sole authority to their sons to go back to their fathers or give full custody to the father. A lot of women do not want this because they want the boys to control them, to indoctrinate them, and create future simps. Yes, I said. And let me look at the super chat. Yes, Wrench Turner drops $10 super chat. Thank you, Wrench Turner. J.O. means he looks like a typical gynocrat minion. Buck save. This is my first impression, and I'm riding with that. I see why most black women are single mothers. And him doing what he does is not going to make it any better. He said it out his mouth, guys. And I'm going to show you guys when we rewind it back. Let me rewind it back. Because what he said was very important. Let me rewind it back. I'm running back. Listen closely. Fair use.
Disingenuous. And it's not that everything that I'm saying is necessarily right, but it's how I see things. And then if you take from that, just say, your interview with Danae, you would, it's because but man, disingenuous. And it's because he wants vagina, because he wants money or what have you. But man, I was raised by a single mother around 2 sisters. Naturally, I lean towards the woman's point of view on things. Anything else would be disingenuous. And it's not that everything that I'm saying is necessarily right, but it's how I see things. And then if
a famous Russian said it best. I forgot the Russian's name. He said, give me the child at age 6 and I'll have his mind forever. If you've been raised from birth to roughly 18 to 20 something years old, she already got you lock, nip, and tight. Because she got your mind. So anything she does in her indoctrination of you as a young man becoming a man is all well endowed. It is already flustered, is already ingrained in your genetic makeup, your DNA. You've been born and groomed to be the simp for the community. So everything this woman does, she will never do no wrong because she has created you. She has made you to be a very much loyal, obedient slave. Yes. Yes, slave. Yes. Fair use. Fair use. Oh, and wait, before I go on, some up he wrote how he sees things. Yes. Nothing's wrong with that. Provide the father is safe and positive image. And see, yeah, naturally, I agree. Hello, Angela. How you doing? All right, let's keep going, guys. Fair use. Fair use.
You take from that, just say, your interview with Danae, you were speaking in a way that was protective as her brother, empathetic. You was calling wrong. That wasn't you pandering.
Right.
You
right.
per the situation that you speaking on, this is the truth.
Right.
But whenever you telling a truth that makes people uncomfortable or a truth that's not popular, they're going to look for a way to attack you either way it go.
I can respect that. I asked you, I said, Derrick, if you were given the opportunity to name this episode, what would you name it? And what did you say?
Reap what you sow.
Why? Why'd you say that?
I think whenever I've talked about these different rules and what have you, some people take from it like, okay, he's promoting perfection. We're going to mess up sometime. And my whole MO has been like, okay, if you're going to mess up, you just got to understand that come with consequences. You reap what you sow. Even whenever I started mentioning God, I gave my life to Christ February 4th, 2020. And people were like, oh, you can't bring God into it. I'm like, the God I serve says you reap what you sow. And I'm no exception. Even as I'm saying it, I'm living it too.
Yeah.
And that goes both good and bad. But, I think if we're all aware of that, we can walk according to that instead of thinking we get it out because we had our intentions or what have you. For the time I spent in my patterns and the things that I'm not proud of, I gave myself an out. I gave myself excuses. Well, I felt like this and she did that. And I wasn't operating according to where you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Not what's sown by your partner, not what's sown by the circumstances. And your daddy wasn't there. So if I'm going to talk about it, I'm going to really be real. We got to speak with that at the core of the message.
I respect that. Let's go back. I want to go back to find out who Derrick was. Who was Derrick growing up? Like you said, I hear you just mentioned that you grew up in a single parent home raised by a mother around sisters. What did that look like growing up? And why wasn't your dad present?
So my daddy just got in a lot of trouble.
All right. Make sure you guys hit the like button, share stream. I noticed I got a few people watching. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure as you comment, don't be hesitant. Hit that what's that word? That like button. And also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. And become a member of the Chaos Reign Show. As you know, memberships are well appreciated. I have a few videos now that's for members only. And I would love to add more to the membership. But with your help, it's possible. It is very possible. What you going to witness now? And I'm going to call out certain things. As you know, he's going to go in a little bit detail of his father and the background of his father. Listen closely, listen carefully. One moment, please. One moment. All right. Okay. So I want y'all to listen closely. And I see another person here. I'll read your. I see Hustler and Muscler. I see you in the building. Let's listen closely to this one. Fair use. Fair use.
My mama and daddy was in their early 30s, about my age now. So he's from Jamaica. He had got into some trouble, got deported very early on. Actually, when I was 4 years old, but he wasn't in my life since probably age 1. So my mama, coming from somewhat of a background that she didn't want us to be a part of, she moved down to Alabama. Me, my 2 sisters, and actually my older brother, but he was so much older, he moved out pretty quickly. And man, I just grew up. It wasn't objectively bad.
Did y'all hear that? Let's rewind this back, shall we? Let's rewind that back. Your father is what again, Derrick? Let's go back. And I'm going to do shots fired. Y'all familiar with Chantel, right? Someone, right? She covered this. And Derrick talks about his family, his parents. Derrick is part ADOS. Allegedly. Because we don't know the background of the mother, but he knows the background of his father. His father is from Jamaica, including Chantel. And when she did the video reaction to this, she glossed over that. Have y'all noticed that? It makes me wonder to a lot of people that's not ADOS. What business you have in regards to, when we talk about the union of Black folks, not all Black people are unified, including people that are not born and raised or even a descendant of slave here in America. They have a disdain hate, a disdain jealousy mostly. And really they listen to the Caucasian man by default about how Black people are in America. I find that very interesting. But they sure as hell will make money on Black folks. ADOS people especially. Interesting. But nonetheless, Derrick Jaxn father is from Jamaica. That was very surprising. So you got a potential ADOS mother and your father's from the Caribbean. I wonder if this has to do with why he's out there slinging ping on a lot of women. Is it the West Indian side of him that's, harboring that what it called buck mentality? Or it's just, he just loves sex? It's something to think about. But let me rewind it back. Let me see. Rewind it back. Fair use.
Mama coming from somewhat of a background that she didn't want us to be a part of. She moved down to Alabama. Me in the early 30s, about my age now. So he's from Jamaica. He had got into some trouble, got deported very early on. Actually, when I was 4 years old, but he would.
But my question: why was your father sent back home? Was he doing illegal activities? Because to be sent back to Jamaica, and a side note to people that's from the island, up until 1996, I believe, or around the mid-90s, under President Bill Clinton was notorious sending a lot of people that is not born in America back home from South America to Europe and including the Caribbean islands. He was notorious sending people back left and right, including your former Democrat President Barack Hussein Obama. He was also sending people back left and right. If you Black from another country, you did something, whatever, you get sent back home ASAP. They don't play. But anyway, that's a side note for some people that didn't know. And let me read the comment section. That hustler. By J.O. Single mother destroyed Black boys, period. They maintain the children enough to keep them as permanent underclass in America. Sad but true. This is how you keep a race of people, your beast, a bird. Okay. Yep. And he writes, as your beast a burden. Jamaican. Smiling. Single mothers rate is over 80% in Jamaica. Was it in the ganja? Well, it's a very good question. Ganja's not just a Jamaica thing. America, we smoke. Well, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna continue to tape. Fair use.
In my life since probably age 1. So my mama coming from somewhat of a background that she didn't want us to be a part of. She moved down to Alabama. Me, my 2 sisters, and actually my older brother, but he was so much older, he moved out pretty quickly. And man, I just grew up. It wasn't objectively bad, but the story I created from the dynamic of not only daddy not being there and not having answers, but my mama working 2 to 3 jobs year round, I just felt invisible, because again, I was really living with my 2 sisters. And they connected to each other a lot better than they did me. Yeah. Everybody loved me, to be real with you. My mama loved me and they loved me. But then when mama get home from work, she need time just to be a human being. She got her own battles. So as she's trying to give herself, she's really stretched thin. And then on top of that, again, she barely connects with me. I'm missing my daddy. So a lot of my childhood, man, was just feeling invisible, feeling somewhat abandoned. Even though objectively that wasn't what was going on, that was a story I had created. And then I acted out to get a lot of attention.
How'd you act out?
School. I was the knucklehead that made it really hard to find a babysitter. They just knew it. Bud was my childhood name. Bud gonna act up. Bud don't like to listen. Bud just needed some attention. And Bud knew it. The world is gonna stop if I get in trouble, if I talk too much, if I get out my seat, if I do this, that, and that. So I got whoopings and all that stuff. But it was really my way of getting attention. So that was pretty much my childhood. Again, my mama, a single mom. She made everything stretch how they needed to. She taught me basically everything up until I got to 10th grade. And that's when I had my stepdaddy, Mr. Lloyd, rest in peace. He came into the picture. And he gave me kind of that blue collar work ethic thing. We roofing, we fixing cars, we cutting grass. So that's pretty much it, man.
Did you have any sexual experiences at a young age?
No, never before my first, losing my virginity at 16.
About 16. Mm-hmm. So same as me, lost my virginity at 16. When you lost your virginity at 16, what did that teach you as a man? Was that something that your homeboys was encouraging everybody in the neighborhood? What city did you grow up in?
Enterprise, Alabama. Well, between Elba and Enterprise, Alabama.
Enterprise, Alabama.
Shout out to Alabama right now. You know what I'm saying? We repping kind of hard.
Yes. Shout out to the dirty South, Alabama. Yes. It's ironic with Alabama. There was once a scuffle, a fight on the riverfront where, a lot of Alabamians, white especially, were trying to gang up on a black, I think he was a sailor. And lo and behold, black people came out of nowhere like the Avengers, coming out portals, coming out of the lakes. They up here putting the work of God to them white folks. I say, even one point, they beat the hell out of this white dude. His clogs went and ripped from under his feet, and it was rise up to near his kneecaps. It was astonishing. I never seen something like that. It was amazing. I mean, wow. But like I said, shout out to Alabama. You know it is. But anyway, let's keep going. Fair use.
The Montgomery Mollywop representing.
Mollywop.
Enterprise, Alabama.
Yeah. And so at 16, you end up giving up your virginity. What was that like? What did that teach you?
That when a girl say, come see my hair at 1 a.m, it probably ended come see her hair. It was to my next door neighbor, and I don't want to go into detail about it, but honestly, bro, I was just happy to be having sex. I ain't gonna lie to you. It just felt like a rite of passage. Because at 15, 16 years old, you still trying to define yourself, be accepted. So this whole time, I wasn't necessarily tripping on sex, but when it came, I wanted to perform. And I went in, but the reality of how I developed my relationship with sex actually started probably with pornography.
Boom. 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 Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. He is bombastic. That's how it all starts, ladies and gentlemen. When you see your first bus, when you bust for the first time, it's like splendidus. It's like glory be to God. Imagine like a young Derrick Jaxn, an 80s baby. I'm not sure if anybody here is 80s or 70s baby, but you see your first sexual encounters when you watch porn. And trust me, if he was an 80s baby at the time, he was watching that 90s porn or up to the early 2000s porn, where if anybody was born late 70s, early 80s, he was watching, who those chicks' name? Y'all can name a few porn stars. I'm trying to remember their names, man. I can't name. I drew a blank. I can't name a few. Maybe I can have in the chat room. Name a few, guys. And don't be scared, man. We're all adults here. Of the videos that he was seeing at age maybe 10, 12, maybe, when he was around early 2000s, and he was getting his practice on. He was getting his stroke game on. So that when he's ready to get in them cheeks. Enough said. But that's how most people get to learn their ways in the bedroom through the assistance of adult movies. Anyway, let's keep going. Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's right, Wrench Turner. That boy was watching. Yep, 45. And I'm not sure how many episodes was that, but let's be real. The man was watching all the loose and perverted images, and he's sitting there practicing as he goes. So when he gets in them guts, he was gonna blow a chick's black out. Like literally, he's gonna blow their back out to the point that they sitting there, they're up there going, ah, ah. And then you see that quiet, silent scream. Yeah. Anyway, I tell you, Derrick is a freak. He's a super freak. I tell you that much. And let's keep going. Oh wait, hold on. Me either. I got busted before I had to go through the full series. Oh damn. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Fair use.
That was about 10, 11 years old.
Who introduced you to that?
I won't say his name, but my homeboy.
It was a homeboy.
Back in Elba, Alabama. He introduced me. Matter of fact, I think they were just introducing computers into the school. I'm old. Just introducing computers. So this is before they had firewall and all that stuff. And man, he told me to go on the website, and I went on the website. And from there, man, I won't say addicted, but I was definitely introduced to something way too early.
What do you remember that doing? Because a lot of people don't understand how pornography shapes the viewpoint of how men see or objectify women.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with, even my sons, you know what I'm saying? They be online, they'll end up something to pop up on these game and stuff. And I was like, hey, this is why you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
No one ever had that conversation with me as a young man. And I had a family member that had magazines, and I seen them a couple of times when I was like 12, but I just never did get involved in it. So my question to you is, how did that shape when you...
Now, guys, do you really believe that? Do y'all really believe that? Like, really? Do y'all really believe this man say all he did was look at a few magazines and did nothing with his junk? Stop lying. I tell you, niggas lying on their dick. We gotta be honest here. And mind you, this is going to be rated R tonight. This is going to be very explicit. I try to be clean tonight. I can't do it. I wish I could, but the incumbents, the insanity of this stream, it just beholds me. I cannot hold my tongue. I gotta let it out. What's good, Queen of Virtue? My lovely moderators in the building. Say hello to Queen of Virtue, gentlemen and ladies in the chat room. She writes, please like the video, show your support. You can also support by Super Chat, Cash App, $sign on Chaos 8 Rain, and any amount is appreciated. Yes, like always. And she writes again, thank you, Rich Turner, for your donations. Yeah, he donated earlier. All right. Hold on. Yeah, man. Listen, a lot of people in the Black community got their first introduction to the bedroom either by watching movies, maybe reading or looking at we don't read, we look at magazines. Let's keep real. Unless it's comic books, we might read, but if it's like image and pictures, we're gonna look at a nice fine body and we might do something. We might. And another thing, a lot of pervert adults might have took our innocence. At the end of the day, in the Black community, virginity is not sacred. I don't think it ever was sacred in the Black community. Personally, if you're a man, you never bust a nut before the age of 16, they're gonna look at you as weird. You as a lady, if you're a girl, you have not had your first cherry pop before the age of at the age of 14 or 15, they're gonna look at you weird. And the reason I'm saying is because as I look at we don't respect virginity. We don't respect innocence enough here. A lot of people's sexual experience came in very early. And because that, you create a desire amongst a child or a young teenager to make it feel and seem like it's okay to be doing this on the regular. you know, you hear the notion that she's fast. It makes me wonder how she got so fast. Should be the question. Same thing what to do. Say you hear him say, "Oh, he's gonna be a heartbreaker," but how did he became a heartbreaker, lady? Are you looking down on a boy that you want to take advantage, ravage him sexually? You want to entice him? Because let's be honest, gentlemen, some dudes probably had their first experience by an older woman, most likely. Now, and we're gonna keep real here. We're not gonna hold no tongue. Anyway. And Queen versus Sid, thanks. All right, let's keep going, guys. I gotta open this chat up, open this line up a little bit. So I want to get through the halfway point of this before I do. Fair use, fair use.
Look back, hindsight being 2020, how did that shape your viewpoint on women?
Well, what my therapist taught me was that it actually just created a toxic relationship with sex, period. It became kind of an escape, you know, something to immediately distract me, make me feel less rejected if I ever felt that. So, you know, starting there, of course, it rewires your brain, it desensitizes you and stuff like that. It also miseducates you on what real intimacy is. So it took me well into my adulthood, actually until, you know, I was married, to understand that it's not about performance-based, you know, whenever you're having sex with a woman, it's connection-based. So I went, you know, even having sex in the earliest years, it was about, you know, the theatrics of what I could perform and so on and so forth, man. But especially if there's serious feelings involved, you may leave a woman feeling like a piece of meat when she can tell you wasn't even there with her.
Right.
So not only that, in the times where I wasn't having sex, again, that was my easy out. Like, okay, I know I got porn, you know, I got this, that, and the other. And I wasn't on there like 4 hours a day or nothing like that. But I developed some nasty habits of when I'm really, really stressed or hurt or grieving or whatever. I can do this and then go to sleep, or I can do this to get my mind. I can break the pattern by doing this. So that
to me, gentlemen and ladies, is considered an addiction. If you had to go to relieve and release to remove the burden of pressures that you're dealing with outside the world you live in, you are addicted. It's like another coping mechanism. And like the man said, adult movies that Derrick watched is another form of coping mechanism. It is actually very a dangerous and toxic mechanism. You think about it. Because now, for you to really, you know, function on a daily basis, you need the bus. So when you hear like people like Miss K expose him back 2 years ago, and some of all the women he's been entertaining, even to the point when Danae knows that he's been having reckless sex with all these ladies that she discovers or pop up and discover, she know what Derrick is because she could tell because this man did it on her. And let's be honest, Danae is also a damaged good because she is a actual victim of what we call, you know, she's been touched, grape in society, or not, but in, you know, in her life. I think she got touched or graped at the age of 19, I believe, when she finished high school. So even that alone, that kind of torment her further and how she moves and sees men. So actually one person is addicted and one person is damaged goods. They're right for each other, unfortunately. And I don't like to say that, but yeah. Anyway, let's keep going. Fair use, fair use.
That's pretty much it, man.
You're in college. You go to college. How did you meet Danae?
Math class. She walked.
And Judas says, sounds like he really puts in the work. Effing, I hope he got paid for it. Well, I will say he's not getting paid for it, but I'll tell you one thing. If Derrick Jaxn was a porn star, listen, he would be making a lot of money right now. Listen, you know how many women that listen to this simp buy this dude's products, his books especially? You know, they wouldn't mind putting their mouth in all places of Derrick to the point that they were hoping and begging and praising that Derrick be one of those, will be the lucky one to sit there and blow their backs out. Every adult woman over the age of 18 and up, even up to 60, imagine and fantasize and have daydreams hoping that Mr. Jaxn will lay the smackdown on them in the bedroom, if you know what I mean. How you doing, Tough? Tough Topics podcast. How you doing? Another content creator. She's just watching from the clouds, and I'm going to open up very soon. But let me keep going. I'm going to get for the halfway point. Fair use.
Then she had on a black colored button up with black slacks, pretty face, slanted eyes, nice curves. So honestly, it was all physical when I first looked at her. And then I saw her notebook and I saw that she was into music. And I was like, oh, I thought she was like a bottle girl or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I saw the saxophone and stuff like that. So I asked about it. And she had a really soft voice, somewhat of an innocence about her. And we got to talking. I got a number. She didn't immediately answer later on whenever I called. I think I called 3 times. I said, she don't answer this time. She answered on the last ring. And from there, man, we talked through the night. We did all of the stuff that we think about in high school and college, like on the phone overnight. We were inseparable, man, for like that first 2 months. Just again, people looked at me a certain way, and I was misunderstood. But with her, even being goofy and bubbly, like my personality is naturally I'm usually the jokester.
Okay.
So between that and I had an interest that most guys would think is soft. Again, I love Terry McMillan and Air Jerome Dickey books. I love R&B. I work out to R&B to this day.
So
you know what I'm saying? On the way home from football games, I was writing poetry. Coincidentally, Dear Future Wife post, man, back in the day. You can you can search on Twitter right now, put in hashtag Dear Future Wife and Derrick Jaxn. You'll see from 2010. I was on. So all of that soft stuff, she didn't judge me for though. She loved it. She loved my poetry. She wrote poetry. And one time, this is when I like knew it, like, oh, this is the one right here. I told her when I was younger, we loved peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Didn't know that's how mama was making that money stretch, but I loved it. It was a delicacy to me.
You better talk about it.
She, before practice one day, she was like, I need to see you. I was like, okay, for football practice. And she ran up to me with 2 sandwiches, one with white bread, one with wheat bread, and said, I didn't know which one you was gonna like, but I know you like PB&J.
Really?
I called my mama on the way to practice. I said, Mama, I found the one. Go on, get your dress ready. It's going down. This is at 19 years old, man. So we could joke.
She
we was
had
on
them
Skype.
at peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Man, look, a sense of humor. Of course, she was sexy and all that stuff. But
She started off tutoring you, right? She said something about tutoring you.
That was a segue. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out how to get close to her at first.
Oh, so you used that?
I used it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I used it. I need help now. I did, but
yeah, man. Away to a man's heart, ladies, and you might know it's J Mac Tough Topics podcast. To get to a man's heart, you need to make that PB&J with the extra crust cut off on both ends. You feel me? And let me read some of the comment sections. This is insane and funny at the same time. My goodness. Free tenuous labor sounds like a plantation revisit. Oh, yeah. This is crazy to watch. Oh, yeah, it's very crazy. It's going to get more crazy. Sit back and enjoy. Fair use.
That wasn't the reason why I chose her as my tutor. They had other tutors, you know what I'm saying? One girl, she had like a pimple by nose and stuff like that. I was cool on that. I want this one right here.
I want this one.
And so, yeah, man, we continued to connect and talk and be inseparable. And, you know, it didn't take long at all. I think within like a week and a half, 2 weeks, we were inseparable, holding hands everywhere, went on dates. I ain't even had no money for a date. I ain't had no money to pay for my own food on the date. And then the first night that I asked her, I think it was on Valentine's Day of 2020, I asked her if she would be my girl. We went on a bowling date.
Not 2020.
No, not 2020.
Yeah.
Shoot, 2009. That year is so crazy to me.
Yeah.
2009, February 14, 2009, I asked her to be my girl after a bowling date. She said yeah. And then I asked her to come with me down to the lake so we could pray over our relationship. It's the first time.
Hold on. At 19, you talking about you praying with
I was actually you probably won't believe this. I was actually an average churchgoer, man, at that time. I was doing my stuff, but I also went down to Mount Olive Baptist Church down in Tuskegee and was front row every single Sunday.
Really?
Yes. I was a devout churchgoer. The year before that, I did a mission trip out in Atlanta ministering to the homeless down by Peachtree. So, you know, she came in. I was still in church, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to pray. I was so scared.
You wanted to pray over y'all relationship.
I didn't know what I was doing. I never felt anything like that. I never felt like I really was in love, because I had a hard time letting people close to me because I experienced a lot of loss. So I could engage. I'm an extrovert when it comes to meeting people and talking, but actually letting somebody in, she was the very first person outside of my family.
I also see D. Darrell in the building. as you know, Dieter, I'm going to open this up. I just want to get to the next 10 minutes of this tape. I'm going to open up for all that's listening patient. When I open the call lines, I want you to come up, give your own take and reaction to this. As you know, a lot of people have been covering this. Derrick Jaxn, for the first time, this is his confessions. He speaks out in front of the public. All of the rumors, all of the sex scandals, all of the books, hell, all of the so-called breakups and makeups that Danae has been telling and spilling from her own side effects. So now we're hearing Derrick Jaxn for the first time. And trust me, this is going to be a 2-part live stream. I'm only covering the first half because it's long enough. And next time I come back, I'm going to cover that half. But let me read what's going on in the chat room. Like I said, I see D. Darrell. He's looking. 2020 was the new chick. Yep. Laughing out loud. Yep. By the lake. It's always like, oh, you know, and Jay, you're from Alabama. You know, they're doing it behind your home state. I tell you, listen, now, Jay, keep it real. A lot of these sisters in Alabama, are they like you? Are they really Southern, homegrown, or are they, you know, ratchy, like, you know, the normal, average, modern black woman today, Jay? What's your take? I'm looking forward to hearing your comment. Yeah, some way. Another indication that religion in America is a tool to an end, a hustle. Yes. These are his confessions. Oh, yes. Confessions. Heck no. Okay. Very modern. Oh, very modern. Yeah. All right. Fair use, fair use.
Family I had done that with. So, man, we prayed by the lake. I led the prayer. And then we was like, all right, God, I need your help because I don't know what I'm doing.
You said you were afraid.
Afraid.
Because you've never allowed yourself to open up like this with a woman before. You said you've experienced loss. When you say that, you're talking about what? Your father not being present? What other losses that you incurred?
Mostly my father, man. And then my grandmother was a tough loss. And I learned really with that, and everybody lost somebody, but I learned with that, I'm horrible at grieving. I don't do well with that. And I learned later on in therapy it's because of how I internalized my father's loss. I had so much meaning I put to it as far as like what that means for me. Like, I'm not worth calling. I'm not worth checking on. I'm not worth doing the right thing so you don't have to be taken from me.
Yeah.
And then my mama, she had a thing that she would do from I'd say up to about age 7, where she would tuck me in and say, "Good night, Mr. B," because Bud was my nickname. And then mama got a boyfriend one time and she stopped. And for me, I mean, it was dramatic, I guess, but I said, oh, she don't love me like that anymore, right? So now I grow up and I'm really guarded. I'm really good at just going inward when I have something wrong with me, et cetera, and not letting people get too close. Even girls like, oh, I can smash, or we could do whatever, we could talk, but I'm never going to give you my heart.
Yeah.
But with Danae, none of them guards stayed up. So I was scared.
So, wait, let me keep playing because he said something. Sorry, guys. Phrase.
Because I know, like, I'm feeling something I've never felt before, and I don't want to mess this up. I know she's too good for me. So, like, God, help me become somebody I'm not, because I don't know what I'm doing here.
So during that time, you wasn't the type to be monogamous, was you? You just said
I didn't have no relationship to be monogamous in. I was doing my thing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and so this one, you just said, why'd you want to give it all up for her?
I felt something with her I never felt before, but it was emotionally based. Looking back at it now, it's like, man, I was so unprepared. And for something like that, you don't know how important that role is, you playing somebody's life where you're going to give them your heart and they're going to give you theirs.
Yeah.
You hand somebody the keys to your sanity, your physical health, and so many other things. But we were taught later, you know, if you love somebody, you just go be there.
Yep.
And you trial and error.
Yep.
And there's a high price to pay for trial and error, as we both learned.
So as y'all were dating each other in college, what that looked like? What grade were you?
Now, you got to understand with Derrick Jaxn, this is his confessions. Now, can I say he's really lying in front of camera? Possibly. But like I said, his wife was here and a lot of people took her word for it. I'm not sure why Derrick's no exception. I would say he does love his wife and he really want to make it to work. But in the Spurs part, he's only giving you the little snippet of a little bit taste of portion of his life. And throughout his development as a man in a relationship, one thing is evident that this dude does not like to be alone. Has anybody noticed that? Everywhere Derrick goes, he always got to have a woman around him, whether he's smashing or company. This guy, as you know, never you hear him like he's really alone. Like you see him alone that he's not entertaining no woman for a year. That's the vibe I'm getting. But anyway, let's keep continuing. About to soon drop the link for those who want to come up. Oh wait, before I'm. Oh wait, I saw you wrote some earlier. Let me go up to this one. Freak Obama. Yep. He continues to lie after all that happens. Yeah. He was the Bama pipe. Roll Tyro. Yes, he's that Bama pipe. He was laying some serious pipe. He was giving some hard fuck to the women. Like he was blowing these women hard. Like literally. He's if y'all could remember, can y'all remember when Tasha K was revealing him messing around with these women? Did you know that one woman that Tasha called in and had an interview, not like person but on phone? Did you know the woman that he knocked up was one of them, especially was an actual Jamaican woman, just like Derrick's father? He especially went and knocked her up. Now I'm not sure if she's a light-skinned Jamaican or maybe a regular dark caramel Jamaican. I don't know. But this dude does have affinity of, mostly his women that he's dealing with on the average are pretty much darker complexion. So I wrote here, I believe he's the only slight more insecure than C. Harvey. Yep. I don't know, Chaos. He's been proven to be a master manipulator. Yeah, I mean, it takes time to manipulate the draws out of a lot of these ladies, especially if you don't do too much work. Validation. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, let's keep going. Fairies.
At that time,
I was a sophomore. Second year, she was a freshman.
All right, so sophomore and freshman, second year, and you were like, this is my woman. Were you exclusive with her during that time?
The first couple of months I was exclusive. I don't know if I ever had the proper boundaries, but for me, it was like, of course, don't cheat. Don't go sleep with another girl. But I would say after that honeymoon phase, the first 2 months is when I can remember. I don't remember the exact thing, but I remember feeling really rejected by her. And I didn't know what was behind that because, okay, I don't have aggressive energy towards a woman except in intimacy. And so how I would express.
Y'all hear that? It said I don't have an aggressive way of me unless I'm in the bedroom. That's very telling. That tells me you take your frustration, your anger, all your vitriol to that lady when you give her the pipe, or like my friend what's the name, Jada said, the Bama pipe. I say, girl, you're gonna get this tonight. I'm gonna go balls deep in you, and trust me, he's a man that will slip. Ladies, listen. This man right here you see on the screen, he will put balls deep in your cooch. He's gonna obliterate your cooch, not only with his mouth, but with his phallus. He is going to open you up like a straitjacket. He's going to blow your back out so hard, you're going to pray to Jesus Christ that you're able to stand and walk the next goddamn day. Mark my, and let me tell you something, fellas. I'm convinced a whole lot of ladies, including sisters, they love to know that you're able to have the capability to blow their backs out. Like literally, you're gonna blow the hell out their back to a point that they don't stand. God knows if they start. All right, let me stop. I'm gonna get too graphic. Fair use.
My affection oftentimes was aggressive. Like I want to pick her up.
Yeah.
I don't just kiss her. I pin her up against the wall, put my hand around. I'm not trying to get graphic.
Yeah.
There's context here. So I come up behind.
No, you need to go. You need to get graphic. Listen, brother, stop it. You need to get graphic. You are Mr. Lover, man. You are the Bama pipe. You are every woman's desire. They don't sit there and listen to you say, Oh, you my queen? Scratch that. I didn't want to hear about no goddamn queen. What you talking about, queen? I want to know what that Bama pipe do in the bedroom. I want to get stretched. Like Sukihana said, I'm here to get stretched. And trust me, Sukihana got stretched enough. Her mouth got stretched. Her backside got stretched. And her womb got stretched. It got so stretched, it's like you could throw a nice little football in the goal. Goal! It fits very well. And I say, God damn, it's slack. You need to do something about this. I don't want no slack. All right, let me chill. Yeah, I'm gonna chill because I'm trying to be PG-13 tonight, but I can't do it, man. Because the insanity, the fuckery of this all. I'd rather he be honest and say, listen, I forgot the guy that's interviewing. Say, listen, bro, I just like to smash. I like to blow chicks back out time. What's wrong with that? I got needs. I need to one day I said I just get hard. I said I need to take my thing and just plug some woman in. What's so hard about that? What's so hard about that? Anyway, let me read y'all comments. Oh, y'all laughing at y'all crazy in the chat room. Y'all laughing like crazy up here, man. Yeah. I like girls want to get stretched out by Derrick. Yeah, they get stretched out. Squimish bits rearranged. Yes, arrange them guts. He was hated black women. Wow, and he made a ton of money from them. This is some dysfunctional. Yeah, hell yeah. Fair use.
On her and hug on her, kind of aggressive. But that would make her really, really shut down. And I didn't know what was going on. I felt rejected, like, why you don't want to kiss me? My breath stink or something like that. So we would have, and not only was she shut down, then it would be tension. It would be almost hostile. So again, this wasn't until about a month and a half, 2 months in, where it was like, now it's back-to-back things. Now I come up on the kiss her and she like kind of pushing away. She can't stay far enough away from me. She's kind of mean towards me. And it's kind of a flip side. And I didn't know part of what I was feeling didn't have nothing to do with the relationship. It was much deeper. But I remember like, man, my breath getting short. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I ain't never been so sensitive to rejection because we all get rejected. But this the first time I felt that. And what felt safer was to go out and at least have friendships with other girls. Just the conversation felt like receptiveness, like acceptance again. Mm-hmm. But those loose boundaries turned into no boundaries. So, if we continued to clash and she continued to pull away or what have you, and I'm not getting no answers or whatever, I'm especially in my prideful state, I'm thinking, man, she got me effed up. So I'm over here doing the right thing and she over here acting like I ain't nothing. So now there's a party tonight or there's a girl on campus and then she got her own dorm room. And that's whenever I started messing around.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, man. Ladies. You hear that from a player? He said, do not deny me them cheeks. Deny me them cheeks. If you deny me them cheeks, I'm going to be cheek searching. He's going to be smashing some woman. He's going to be blowing some woman's back out. And let's be honest, I think Danae said that, he been having multiple chicks in his dorm. But come here, he used to play football, so he's a jock. So obviously, if you're a football lineman, right, you're good enough, you're going to get access to poon. I don't care how bad you play on the field. If you're tall and you're muscular and you're dark, the ladies are going to pull their drawers down. It's like a magnetic. You're like a magnetic. You're going to just attract females that want to screw you. It comes with territory. And a lot of dudes saying he's lying. And possibly he might be lying. But all knows this is his confessions. So we're here just to listen and ride this so-called wave. Fair use.
Interesting. Now I realize something. You were trying to be on the straight and narrow, and that aggressive personality that you had, because she told us on the podcast that she had experienced a rape 2 weeks before y'all met.
Yeah. So she you
didn't know nothing about.
I didn't know about that till 5 years later.
Exactly.
I don't know if she wants to speak on it, so I won't go in depth, but there was another instance of rape in that same 30-day span before she met me. So I didn't know to the level or at all that I was dealing with a rape survivor.
Now, my thing is, how you know that she got touched again after the first time she had it? and then it happened again, and then all of a sudden she meets you. I find that to be fishy, don't y'all? That's kind of weird. But let's be honest, women nowadays not gonna be honest about how much they got violated in front of the public. Usually when you get violated, you keep that to yourself. Matthew, you keep that to the grave. You don't let no one knows that someone touched you at a certain age. I mean, it's too traumatizing, unfortunately. Anyway, let's keep going. Fair use.
Even if I knew that, I probably wouldn't have known how exactly to handle it.
That, yeah.
But certain forms, and we covered this later on in our marriage therapy, but because this was a pattern. This everything that happened that was really painful was really one long repetitive pattern.
Right.
Me feeling rejected for this, that, and the other, and she handles, becoming okay again a certain way. But I didn't know certain forms of affection that were natural to me just felt scary to her, put her back in a certain space where, certain things that happen. So, yeah.
And that's so interesting. It's like, I'm getting understanding. It's like you have this woman who has experienced this huge violation of her body, her soul, her spirit, this brokenness. She meets this guy who she says she just loved the mess. She loved your dirty draws. You're wanting to show your affection. You grabbing her by her neck. You being aggressive physically, from a sexual standpoint. She's getting nervous. She's getting triggered on all levels. Don't even realize that she's being triggered like this. She's closing up rejection to you because you've experienced that growing up. Mom no longer is kissing you and tucking you in bed at night. Rejection. So now you're like, well, now I'm going to go self-medicate. I have this history of looking at porn, and now the way I self-medicate is watching this. So now I'm going to do the outward extension of that.
Yeah.
Now I'm over here hanging out with girls. One thing leads to another. Now you over here smashing. Now it's triggering her. How did she ever find out when you first cheated on her?
Well, we were both triggering each other and didn't know it.
Right.
I was triggering her with my affection. She was triggering me by pushing away. I didn't just continuously, because I had this weird thing, man, where I would do it and feel guilty.
Would you tell?
Man, I'm
Would
tripping. No, heck no.
Okay.
No. So I would do it and be like, oh, man, all right, you messed up. You did your thing. Again, bro, we kids at this point. We're 19,
so would the
20
girls
years
be
old.
running back to her?
Nah, they didn't do that either. I don't even know if those particular girls knew we were together.
You walked around holding hands on campus?
Not all of them was on campus. Not all of them was on campus.
Yeah,
What we talking? I'm trying to dig back because this is 15 years ago.
A long time ago.
But I remember, I don't know how she knew. I don't think the original one or two or whatever she knew about, but I know we had a falling out because her and her friend, she suspected or something. Her and her friend used to have this thing on Facebook called Honesty Box. And it was where basically you send anonymous messages or whatever. So her and her friend had set up to send me anonymous messages to try to see if I would bite on the bait of another girl trying to flirt with me or something like that. I would have this, and it's again pattern. I'm cheating, now I'm faithful. Now I'm cheating, now I'm faithful.
Derrick, you cannot cheat and be faithful. Once you sit there and decide, say, I'm going to be the Bama pipe on other girls, you are exercising your option to say, I like to have other women around. I like variety. I like to be giving women the pipe. I'm going to blow their backs out regardless. So I can sit there and say, ain't mean nothing. I just blow her back on nothing. You're going to be faithful again and say, I just want to go smash again. You're just on the carousel at this point, brother. Just live it up. Just admit you love the effort. You love to really, blow chicks' backs out for a living. Nothing's wrong with it, but you gotta be honest with yourself, And I think Danae know this. That's why I did not respect the interview Danae did, even to the point that Derrick's doing this interview. It's like both y'all right for each other. And what I mean y'all right for each other, both y'all gone through some trauma. Both y'all, unfortunately, as crazy as F. More like Danae's more crazy than Derrick, but that comes with territory. And both y'all love sex. What's wrong with that? And mind you, Danae is a very much heavily Christian woman. So you know how these Christian women are. They love to get their backs blown out. Most like they're screwing in church. Fair use.
At this point, I was faithful.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no more girls. I felt terrible. That ain't it. We done made up or something. Like somehow we get to talking and we back in love again. So this honesty box message is coming in. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I got a girl. And then I'm hearing ding in the other room. I'm at, we got a apartment here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I sent another message, ding, went into the room, her inboxes, and I'm like, oh. So we fell out. She suspected me of cheating at that point, but she wasn't right about that.
Yeah.
And then from there, man, it was kind of all downhill because we got into a really bad argument and, you know, all this other stuff.
Well, she said that in the times where she would catch you back in college, she would never tell you anyway. She would go in the closet and cry, and then you'd come and be like, hey, everything cool? And she'd be like, yeah, everything fine.
Well, that was
she'll say, it's my dad. I'm grieving the loss of my dad.
Yeah, that was a communication style, period. Without cheating, I may say something that offended her. I learned later on in therapy with her that sometimes my facial expressions while I'm listening would trigger her because I think her dad or something like had that going on. So a million things could be wrong with her.
So you're saying Danae has an old school man or father, which probably is because, you know, his father could be born in the 60s, I believe, or late 50s. One way or the other, you know, Danae's father was very influential in her development. So she see how a man acts and conducts herself. And she see it in Derrick Jaxn. That's why she has a certain connection towards Derrick, in my opinion. But that's just me. I'm gonna read y'all comments. Make sure you guys like the stream and support the stream, you know, for a little dollars here and there, you know, Cash App or the Super Chat, you know. Let's get some colors in the chat room. Derrick is a modern day Rolling Stone. He was Mr. Plunder making demoratory calls. Yep. Is he going to pay for the therapy required for those lovely ladies he slated and messed up? This is, in my considered opinion, will be a good gesture to cement this truly reconciled circus. I agree. I agree with that. Slave. Yes. Fair use, fair use.
But then again, this dynamic of I'm begging for her to tell me what's wrong, and she don't. And I could take rejection maybe 1 or 2 days, but after 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months, now I'm starting to check out and detach without actually leaving. So it wasn't just the cheating that she wasn't talking about. She literally, if she had an issue, she held it in until she blew up.
She said that. She said she held something in for like 10 years and then blew up.
A lot of stuff, man. It wasn't just that. It was a constant thing of, you know, communication is key, but you're not communicating. And so I'm over here begging, trying. Because sometimes I'll be doing stuff and I wouldn't know it was bothering her. Like, so for instance, I was kind of a flirt. So I would say, hey, beautiful or whatever to a girl, think nothing of it. But then she would hear that and be like, you call me beautiful. So understandably, she's offended. She's upset. Like, what, you know, you tripping. Like, don't play with me like that. But she don't say anything. So she wasn't vocal, but she was expressive. Because it ain't like she just didn't talk. She showed that she was upset, but it was with, again, reaction, hostility, name calling, walking off middle of conversation. And that go on for weeks up until I pull away. Then she gets suspicious. One pattern over the next for the next however many years.
So when y'all graduated graduated college, what was the state of y'all relationship? Were y'all still
we had
together?
just broken up. So I found out about her and a gentleman. I think she mentioned on the last podcast.
She said that she was trying to get you jealous or make you jealous about a coworker that she said we created this thing to make it look like this is somebody I was dating to make you jealous, but
we remember that differently. If I pick that cup up and I pour with the contents in it in my mouth and I swallow, did I make it look like I was drinking? So we've always differed on this, by the way. So I'm not trying to just stir nothing up. No. So I had a nonprofit when I was in college. I wanted to tutor and mentor all this other stuff. So one of the things we did was we held events. I had a Christmas event that was like that.
Let me read some comments before we continue. J-Mac Tough Topics podcast writes, he might be telling the truth about their communication, but it never anyone's fault that you cheat, but your own. Exactly. As you know, the link to the chat room to come up is now put out there. Come up, you know, chop it up with Chaos Rain. You know, I'm going to continue going through this. This is like a whole hour of this breakdown. So, you know, feel free to come up. The line is now open. Fair use, fair use.
Previous December, toward the end of college. And I had saw her and the gentleman, the young guy, speaking for like an hour. Now, up until this point, Danae had always like tried to kind of be perfect in my eyes. Like I think she thought if she ever showed a flaw or whatever, I would just leave or something like that. So I was like, this is bold, you know, at my events, like hundreds of people in there, but I can see her just chatting it up. So from December all the way until we graduated that late May or something like that, I had seen the cars together. I had seen all these different things.
And this is the coworker that she had.
Yeah, coworker and a classmate or something like that. So fast forward, and I'm thinking at this point, first off, we already coordinated where we're going to work after school. We're going to be in the same state, because I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. But at this point, I think it was really a lot of what she had been holding in because I had been unfaithful. You know, I had cheated and all this other stuff. I think she never fully expressed herself on how that affected her. So at this point, I think it started bubbling up to where she got really hostile. Like, man, if I don't care what you say. So she's out overnight. It's like, I went to sleep at the gas station. I'm like, went to sleep at the gas station? Went out again overnight.
Oh, y'all were staying together?
We were staying together.
Okay.
We had started staying together like, we were shacking up like year two.
So you said, so she left the house and then come back the next morning?
Till like 9, 10 in the morning. And this was unlike her. She was not this type of girl, but she's wearing makeup now. I know she got some hood rat friends from Sonic where she work, and I know she hanging with them, but I'm like, what is she doing? I'm not sure who's involved. So she did that 2 nights in a row. Then one night I came home. I forget where I was at. I wasn't doing, at this point, I wasn't doing anything. Again, I kept going up and down. Came home in the shower. I came in just like me, bro. I'm very affectionate. My number one love language is physical touch. So first thing I do is give my kiss and hug. She's in the shower. I come right up in there, and while she's in the shower, she's wet, and she's like, and I'm like, "What's up, baby?" Kissed her. Came on out, and the phone is on the counter with the messages up. And he's like, "Is he home? Can I slide?" Da, 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 da. And I'm looking real quick, and I see the name. She jumped out, wet, snatched the phone, and I was like, "Oh boy." Went to the living room. I searched the name on Facebook, saw some stuff, and I was like, that's the guy that she was talking, da-da-da-da-da. So long story short, man, that was a big blow up, and we broke up. And then years later, I had heard from some people he was around about what actually took place. And that after we broke up, she had went and stayed the night, and they did whatever they did. And it wasn't until we were married, because we had this thing where, hey, tell every sexual experience you've ever had.
Yeah.
Where we were married, and she finally, after he done died a couple months earlier, said what all had actually transpired.
So she admitted to it.
Well, she did. She said, well, she didn't have sex while we were together, but it was afterwards. Me, I'm like, it pales in comparison to what I did. I am not going to get mad. Like, let's just keep it all the way G, so we can sweep this away and get on to the next chapter. But we had the direct answers. We broke up. We broke up because of that. Her and whoever, I didn't care. I moved on, did my thing, but we stayed in touch. And when she moved where she moved to, we kind of reconnected sexually.
She said that at that point, well, first of all, this.
Yeah. Wow, indeed, Queen. This is shocking. This is very shocking. I remember when Danae said that she was using her so-called, I think the guy was gayish, the guy that she tried to use as a so-called frontman to get Derrick jealous. She did that just to prove a point, to let him know, saying, if you could go around mess around with all these women, I could go around mess around with a certain man too and easily replace you. So it's like a cat and mouse game. It's a game between these two, saying who's going to outdo the next person. Now, obviously, if Danae wanted, she could have really had sex with a bunch of dudes. But because she's a Christian woman, she's going to hold the bout to her fate. And she's not going to play that game with Derrick. She was lying about using him to make Derrick jet. Yeah, I mean, I think I remember, if you remember Deidre, I think she did said she had a friend, a close friend that she's very close to, that she used as that front man to really see how he'll react. Personally, it's very careless, in my opinion. This is more than a triangle of effery. Yeah. All types of effery. But like I said, links in the chat room. If y'all want to come up. Let me put it again, because sometimes some people don't know the links in the chat room. Let's continue on to this. Fair use.
go back to her personality, which is interesting because I've come to find out that Naya said she used to be a fighter. She used to swing on people. She said somebody came to that job one day, she done fought people. She
I didn't know that part of her, but I mean, she's spoken of being willing to, but I didn't know that part of her.
Yeah, she said she was known to throw hands, and I was like, really? I was like, she's like, oh yeah.
Got a lot of tricks up her sleeve, a lot of surprises. Box of chocolates, man.
She said she threw hands. And so now y'all moved to y'all's respective cities. What city was that? Was this when you moved to Atlanta?
I was in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. No, we went to North Carolina first.
Okay.
Well, and then she was in South Carolina.
And y'all were both single during that stage?
Very single.
You doing your own thing, she doing her own thing?
Her own thing.
But then y'all would just smash every now and then?
Every now and then. But then I would say this lasted about a year and a half. So if she needed me, I came and, like, say, for instance, one time, I worked a 9 to 5 at the time. I was at work, but she had felt really ill and she didn't have no family down there or nothing like that. And I came back, I flew back and I just drove. It was like a 5-hour drive. I drove down there and I stayed with her that weekend. So anytime she needed me, she ain't had no furniture, I would help. If she needed to do this, I would help. That was kind of how we, how we did things. But we were still sexually engaging whenever I did come.
Would that be defined in today's standards as a situationship?
That's fair to say.
Or just somebody I'm just smashing? Because a situationship is more so as it's understood that we're exclusive with each other, but we don't have the title.
Ladies and gentlemen, personally, how I look at it, stay away from those type of, I guess, relationships, or lack of a better word, situationships. I heard one chick in this sector, in the space, that kind of took a disappearance. She said she was in a situationship, and she was talking about this what do you call it, this Israelite nonsense. I mean, that's pathetic. But the point is this: you should either know where you lie with your mate. Are you in a relationship or are you just smashing? All this other extra hoopla jargon is bullshit. Anyway, fair use. And I mean that.
Sounds like more of, I understand you got other people you messing with and vice versa, but we'll hook up.
I would say after probably the first year, when we kind of really started up with, I'm coming in, I'm operating as a boyfriend, or she's operating as a girlfriend, daily calls and texts and check-ins and stuff like that, but still undefined. Yeah. So, I mean, it's fair to say situationship. Either way, it was a blur line mess.
And when y'all got ready to move to Atlanta, was that a conversation that y'all had that y'all were going to move together?
First, she was going to come up to where I was at in North Carolina. My whole goal was to get down to Atlanta. My whole life goal was to get down there in driving distance to my mom and them.
Where your mom live in Atlanta?
Alabama. So she's like a 4-hour drive away. So I never had plans of staying too far away. I always wanted to be close with family. But yeah, we had that conversation. Like, at some point, especially as we get back together, we're going to be down in Atlanta together.
So when at the birth of, at what stage and age did the birth of the Derrick Jaxn that we see on social media, when did that emerge?
It kind of started, I would say, about 2012. I can't say social media because now I talk a lot about relationships. I didn't start off with relationships.
What were you talking about?
I was talking about police brutality. I was kind of like one of them online activists.
Oh, really?
My first time going viral, my first time on national television, I went on CNN. I was speaking on behalf of Walter Scott Bush. My first time going viral, it was about Trayvon Martin and Rachel Gentile and those folks.
That's what you was doing?
That was my first thing. That's the first thing I went viral with. So the first 50 to 100,000 people that was on my page, and I only separated it because I didn't want people on my personal page aggravating, how racist it is.
Yeah.
So I created a separate page where I was talking mostly about that. Occasionally I was sprinkling in relationship stuff because I was always a lover. I always loved love and talking about love. But
and that was 2012.
This was 2012, 2011, 2012. When I first went viral, I went to work and I saw 15,000 people liking the page and so on and so forth. I ain't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
But I was just speaking my piece on whatever I felt was true. But then that became too heavy. It was it's so dark and it induces this helplessness. And I don't know how people do it now where they get up and talk about that every day. It's not that it's not important. But anyway, I was just I kind of want to stick to just the lovey-dovey stuff, man. So I kept posting my poetry and, dear future wife.
He has to stick to lovey-dovey stuff because that's all he's good at. That's all he's well known for. Being the bottom of pipe, laying pipe. And thus, he lays the pipe on all ladies, all race women. I would say probably next few years when Derrick is done with this foolishness, he's going to go into the adult industries. I have a feeling he's going to go straight to it. All right, thank you, Culture Invasion. Make sure you share this in your timeline and, give a like and a comment at the end of this video. I appreciate it. Good night, Culture Invasion podcast. Thank you. This is why the sexual of a woman matters. The sexuality of his woman matters. If you're seriously thinking about marrying her, this F up past soul ties, this is a past trauma she will bring to your household. Yeah, I mean, vetting is very good. We vet to put ourselves in a good position to hopefully carry on and deal with the right, decent mate. But, in this Western hemisphere where women don't really need men, this modernization, the vetting process is going to be very challenging. I'll tell you much, Judah. It's going to be very challenging. And she said, peace, culture, invasion. Yep. All right, let's keep going. Fair use, fair use. It looks like nobody doesn't want to come up, surprisingly. Oh, well, let me keep playing. Fair use.
And all that stuff. But people, like now I got like 75, 85,000 people are looking at my page. And now what they see is at least relationship conversation. And so then they would ask questions. And that's whenever, I don't even know what year that was. That had to be about closing on 2013 sometime. And I wasn't trying to give like this expert point of view. I was just more like big brother. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, this is what it is. I'm not no knight in white shining armor, but this is the truth on what you're talking about. And so they begin curating more of the conversation now, the DMs, the comments and stuff like that. And little by little, they started going viral.
And so you were intentional enough to say, let me leave this other stuff alone and then focus my energy on love and relationships.
Yeah, I honestly, bro, just like everybody else get on social media to post whatever's important to them, that's what I did. The only difference is my voice started resonating, relating to people. And I think I'm probably a bit more bold than most.
What was the style? Were you doing it? Was you on the cell phone like you've become known for? Or did you have cameras? Like what were you doing during that time?
It was written at first. It was all written. Everything was written up until 2014, 2015. My first, actually, I novelist. The first couple of books were Cheating Man's Heart 1 and 2, inspired by, I'm sure it's a huge surprise. And then from there, I wrote poetry because, again, I'm just staying true. Some people were trying to push me into expert land. I'm like, y'all don't know. I just effed up everything. I ain't the one. But then when I got down to Atlanta, this is 2015-ish. Me and her just broke up all over again. People have been stealing a lot of my content. And I was like, enough of that. So I started making videos, Snapchat videos. And then those went even more viral than the written stuff. So that's how that happened. It was on my cell phone. I ain't have none of these beautiful lights and cameras or nothing like that. But I was able to impact a lot of lives, even just with I think it was an Android at that.
You got something against Android?
I'm just saying, everybody be shading.
Now you woke up and chose violence. Now I
people
got
are
an Android.
Samsung phobic, so
we
they
having
over here.
a great conversation until you had to go attack Android. Now interview over. I'm sitting.
Triggered you.
Yeah, triggered me. You iPhone people. And so you start doing this content. And so what kind of feedback did you get from your brothers? Like dudes that where they like, man, come on, man, what you doing talking about this stuff or this? Like your inner circle, how did they receive it?
My inner circle knows me. They know first off I'm kind of soft. Like I always liked things that most people didn't like. Okay. I watched a little bit of sports, but not big on sports. I always loved love. Whenever we used to freestyle back in the day, I was always on love topics, all that kind of stuff. So
really?
Yeah. But outside of my inner circle, I got a lot of feedback. That really kind of got with the videos, the comments and all that kind of stuff. Oh man. But it's just like, bro, true is true. Like, again, like you just think yourself, back in the worst of your decisions, whatever they may be, if your female cousin, auntie, mama, sister come and ask you a question about a dude, you're going to keep it straight with them.
100%.
You're not going to tell them, oh, he put his hands on you because you didn't have the food ready when he got home from work. You're going to say straight like, nah, he put his hands on you, but he probably wouldn't talk out of line to a dude the same size as him.
100%.
Cowardly, right? Yep. So that was the perspective. But as people came and piled in, and again, I never branded myself because it wasn't about no brand. I just wanted to do what I was doing full time. So I had to make
you wouldn't even
money.
know it at that point. You don't know how this could grow.
That was not a thing whenever I first started.
Right.
It was like maybe two guys. I think one or two guys that was doing it professionally.
Who was doing that professionally?
I want to say Tony Gaskin was one of the ones, and then a brother by the name of Stefan Speaks.
Oh yeah,
they had a thing going on, and I still didn't know their business. So I mean, I didn't know this as a profession. But yeah, that was the feedback. But then guys that actually talk to me in real life, we always left the conversation them understanding what I'm saying in full context. So if a woman asks you a question, you're going to speak to that context.
Yep.
But of course, it's a larger conversation in both sides of the coin.
And when did you start knowing that, when did it click? This can be monetized. Did it happen from your first booking that happened? Somebody said, hey, we want you to come speak at this women's thing about this. You're like, wow, I can get paid for this. How much I charge? $500? What I charge?
Yeah.
What was the first thing that made you say I could get paid for doing what I love doing?
All right. So Muscle, you there?
I'm here. What's up, Chaos?
Hey, what's good? So far, what you got out of this so far from listening to Mr. Jaxn first time? His confessions.
Well, so far, based on my understanding, I guess Derrick and Denia are just two toxic ticking time bombs that were just waiting to click, waiting to go off or whatever. I mean, seriously. Derrick Jaxn's the same guy that's spent years selling women on lies just so he can make a quick profit. So who's to say that his wife was any better? And based on my understanding, when Denia first met Derrick Jaxn, she did some sneaky stuff just to try to get him interested in her. Because I guess she considered him that select guy. First, she used one of Derrick's best friends to try to make this man jealous. I guess hook up with him to make Derrick jealous. Then she tried to baby trap the man. So based on what I'm hearing, they're both toxic and they both need help. And this interview just pretty much summed it all up. And I remember in the beginning of the interview, he said something about he was raised by a single mother and he had two sisters. So he's prone to looking at everything from a female's perspective. Mm-hmm. So that probably explains why he's the way he is. He was raised by women, so now he looks at everything from a woman's perspective, never considering what a man is doing, never consider what men need to do to get better, only look at men as being the problem. I never once heard him say anything about men need to step up, men need to get better. He just says, oh, well, women are this, women are perfect, women are this, women are that, men are the problem. Get with the program. That's all he's been promoting out there. So it's almost like, so it begs the question, what is Derrick Jaxn selling people on? How you going to tell a bunch of men to date overweight women, date single mothers, date women that have been ran through, and yeah, you look at your ex-wife and she's none of these things. Seriously, what are you selling people on? It's like, why?
And here's the funny thing about it. While they promote this, they're dealing with the so-called bad chick, i.e. women that's pretty much dress size 6, maybe 8, and maybe lower, while he sits there promote and big up women that are bigger than men. Like literally, you know what I'm saying? That's a big contradiction. And a lot of women never really pay attention. Say, okay, this man's telling you when here, why doesn't he have a big woman like you? Oh, wait. Like an actual big woman.
Yeah, like I said, his ex-wife is none of these things. None of those. I'm like, so it's mind-boggling what he was selling people on. The same women you're telling us to date, you know damn well you would never ever date.
Exactly. Never ever will date, you know. That's why when you look at the pictures of the women that he was really dealing with, rather he's paying for or not, and I'll be honest with you, this is just me. He's doing little tricking. So that men don't want to hear this. He's doing very little tricking. How we know? Because we all know what the ladies want. They want a man that is tall, the dark, and if he's muscular, even better. If you're that, you don't have to work too hard to get the pussy. Matter of fact, it will just be flown right to you. It'll be laid on your lap. And that's something that a lot of men don't want to admit. And Judas writes, there is a classic comment, and black women love comment. Oh, yeah, they love it.
And funny you should mention that, because I've literally seen videos of women confessing that they will date con artists, drug dealers, gang bangers, scammers, the whole nine. And I guess Derrick Jaxn the epitome of that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But let's keep going on. Fair use, guys. Fair use.
First off, I published my first book, 2013. It was a romance novel, though. There wasn't no advice, 2014, 2015.
What was that called?
A Cheap Man's Heart.
Okay, so that's when you created a product.
Yeah. But it was tough to sell because I didn't know how to show the value in it because I ain't have no quotes in it or nothing like that.
Yeah.
So then I was like, well, speaking. but I was deathly afraid of speaking.
Really?
I got booked for an hour, funny enough, in Mollywop, Montgomery. And I think it was about $400 that I got paid. I had everything up in my mind, I'm gonna say it, and I had everything out in 10 minutes. And I had another 50 minutes to go. I was sweating just like I am right now, except I ain't had nothing to say. So I was like, well, speaking probably ain't it. And then I was like, from there, I had to figure out other ways to make money. So, even to this day, my content ain't how I make a living. I have other businesses, but I had to figure out, how do I do marketing? How do I do Google Analytics and Facebook and YouTube marketing? How do I do these other things? Because I'm not getting no money. At that time, they didn't have no monetization for Facebook and all that stuff.
Nothing at all.
So if you didn't have a product to sell, or if you weren't getting brand deals, you ain't making no money.
Facts.
Yeah.
Did you ever get brand deals?
Not.
Before you go to the brand deals, make sure you guys like the stream and share the stream and support the channel, wherever you want to throw in money wise. I would appreciate it. One thing with Derrick, it's clear that he knows what he's good at and what he's not good at. So what he really is good at, and I remember the old man said best that he's a guy that is a jawline dude that's look pretty and just have a book. Now, does he really wrote his own books? I can't really say that, because there's so many ghostwriters nowadays, but I would say maybe he might wrote some of his poems. But regardless, an actual book where you could sit there, read and study, I just don't see it in this brother. Because if you can't sit in front of a crowd and speak, how are you going to portray that and more when you write in a book? Now, I'm not saying it's not possible for you to just speak well, but can't write for ish. But everything's reflective, in my opinion. And usually talking and writing are two different things. And usually how you talk is reflective of how you write. So if you can't stay in front of a crowd and express what you present and bring as a author, a father, etc., in front of millions or thousands of people, how can I really look at what you write on paper, anything of substance? Because usually when you could communicate with a large crowd, that shows confidence. It shows you have presence. But Derrick don't got that. So let's keep going. Fair use.
Not like as a long-term thing. I did a couple of things for like the last OG show and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Nothing
but not
long-term.
like the way it is nowadays, where they be like,
I stopped even accepting them, because I felt like they would always try to control me. Like, my thing is, like, I can't be bought. I don't care who like what I'm saying. I don't care the feed. Man, look, I'm going to say the truth. I'm not going to be a sellout. And a lot of times the brands would be like, oh, well, you got to take this video down, especially about the black stuff, pro-black stuff. And I'm like, I'm not taking anything down.
Yep.
If I say I love even black women, if I say I love black women, I'm adoring black women, I'm sorry to those whites and non-blacks that get offended, but this is how I feel. So I stopped doing brand deals, and that's why I really learned business, so I could be independent with my voice too.
That's real. And so then what initiated the move to Atlanta? You wanted to get closer to your mom, 4 hours drive, that y'all moved together in solidarity, that you say?
We planned it first. She had got a job down there. By this time, I was a full-time entrepreneur. But then we broke up right before we even went down there. We was some making up and breaking up fools. So we went down there separately. She went to stay where she was at in Dunwoody. I forget where I stayed, Dallas, Georgia, something like that. This was another long single season. We had 3 main tries at relationship. One in college, one right after college in North Carolina, and then the one in Atlanta.
And so when you say the single season, how long? I know it's hard to look back at that time. How long were you single, and because y'all still never just stopped dealing with each other ever, right?
No.
So we're not official together, but we still gonna be smashing, meeting up to smash. How long did that season last?
Maybe about a year. I would say this was in, I think it was like the second half of 2015. And then we didn't get together and operate as a couple until Marley was just about here. And that was in 2016, end of 2016. So yeah, she went and did her thing. And from my understanding, not just single like we smashing, but she was on dates with other guys. Nothing wrong with that. And of course, I was doing what I was doing.
So is this her comedy when she says, me and the girl, she said, I knew it. I like having sex with them. We passing each other, men and women passing each other in the hallways. Is that comedy or for real?
I don't know why she said that, because I told her a story about 2 girls passing each other. There's no way in heck I would have her because I know her temper.
No,
You know what I'm saying? I never seen her fight, but I know her temper. She gonna make stuff uncomfortable. No way I would have her around any other woman that I was actually smashing. But there was a situation I told her. So maybe I think as she was talking like us, as everybody who's, sleeping with Derrick. But yeah, there were two girls that passed each other up on the staircase. Cause I never lied. Like, this is what I'm on. I'm single now. I'm deep in my whole phase and I'm gonna win all American honors in it.
See, that's what I'm talking about. So if you can be 10 toes down and be honest like that, I can't do nothing but respect that. Because women say that that's what they desire. They like for a man to be straight up honest so they'll know how to move accordingly. And so you're telling me that in that phase.
Now, Hustler, if you're there, do you believe that women want men to be straight up front, honest?
You know what? I've been hearing women say that mess for years and for years. And some of them might be telling the truth, but for the most part, no. They don't want that honesty stuff because I've learned over the years that sometimes women don't know how to take the truth lightly. Because think about that. How many times have you seen or been in situations where you tell a woman up front, I don't want a relationship. I just want to smash and keep it as a friends with benefits. And then she ends up ghosting you, calling you a dog, calling you a misogynist and all this kind of stuff. When you were the main one being honest and upfront about your intention, you were not trying to lead her on or anything like that. Now, my guess is this. Derrick Jaxn got a free pass because, well, the women found him attractive. They found him attractive. Every guy cannot get away with that. That's the problem. Every dude is not going to be able to get the same free passes that Derrick Jaxn has been getting prior to marrying Denia. They're just not going to get that. Every man ain't going to get that. I mean, you should be honest with a woman up front, but it's just hard to do that. Me personally, I don't even tell female I just want a friends of benefit. I just let my actions speak for you know what they say, actions speak louder than words. So yes, let my actions tell the story. If I see you once a week or something like that, and on time we link up is just to do some sexual stuff, not taking it to romance, then that lets you know where you stand and lets you know where I stand, and just leave it at that. So you ain't got to go too far with the honesty stuff. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, man. If women all they wanted, just in general, interaction with the opposite sex with men, is they want the real truth and the honesty. If that was the case, a lot of these characters that are popping up will not exist. You will not take what message they try and put out or convey to you as women, what you qualify or any given answer that you looking for to accept. You will not accept it. You will always question it. You even will tackle it and even throw back the question to that person that was making these statements. Ladies, you love the lie. Lying is easy. That's why men overall like to tell you lies, because lie is much more sweeter and is much sweeter than honey, sweeter than candy, than getting and tasting the sour bitterness of the truth. So just for food for thought. Fair use.
You were straight up like what she said, that it was like that.
There's no perceived relationship. There's none of that. Now, there could have been more etiquette in how I did some of those things.
How? Tell me how you have etiquette.
First off, I thought that was kind of messed up for the girls I had passing each other. I really was in savage mode. And then I think one or two times the nail would see like some condom wrappers or something like that. And I'm like, even though we're not together, she may be doing her thing, we know our history and we know the feelings that we got for each other. And especially whenever she got pregnant. We conceived Marley, I think New Year's Eve or what have you, and going into 2016. And, we continued engaging sexually, but she's pregnant now. And then I was still out here doing my thing with whoever, whenever I felt like it, because we were not together.
Right.
And it was well understood. But again, that's kind of whenever she found out through the videos and stuff like that. Now, how she told me she found out, I'm not sure exactly if this is it, but she went and got a new phone. It was logged into my Google Cloud because we had been logged into each other's email, and that allowed her to see everything. And I'm like, again, I'm kind of freaky. So I was recording a lot of stuff. Yeah, I was just recording a lot of stuff. I like to see it or whatever. I like that better than porn, TMI. But
you say you like to see yourself.
I like to see myself. I'm inspired by me in that regard. So she saw all of that. And
so, Mr. Jaxn, if you're that well good in the bedroom, and you're that type of brother that likes to watch yourself take pictures or whatever of yourself boning and giving the Bama pipe to these ladies, just live your truth. Screw all this. Stop writing these dumb books. Go sign up, make an OnlyFans, and just take a random chick and tell you're gonna blow her back out for
You did not just go there.
for a subscription of what, $25 a month. A lot of black women and non-black, but we're gonna say the sisters because they're the ones that gravitate to this the most. They will pay for that subscription. They will fantasize you taking your whatever you have, your mouth and all your extremities, and you're gonna be stretching these love ladies out, like literally. You're gonna give them so much ecstasy of, that these ladies are gonna. And let's be honest, I can't remember when the old man when this dude was in his hometown in Philly, right? And I guess the old man's lady friend went in the back, to get powdered up, and she hears the conversations to these women that are her age and just slightly a little younger or a little bit older, and these women tell you that they fantasize and what they'll do there if they had him alone. They're gonna rip his shirt off. They're gonna get on their knees. They're gonna pull those, and they're gonna blow. Like they're gonna really blow Derrick. So live your truth, my brother. Create that OnlyFans today. Don't create Pornhub. You watch too much of that. Enough of that. You create your own live and event and let these ladies pay for subscriptions to see you really put the Bama pipe in these chicks. You screw them hard till they fall asleep. That's your truth, brother. That is your truth. Let's proceed. Fair use, fair use.
And regardless of how she found it, man, I just was like, it's like, what the F am I thinking? She's pregnant and she had to see that. Single or not, she's pregnant and she had to see that.
Let me ask you this, because this is something that she said on the podcast or before, whatever. She's been pregnant by you multiple times and didn't conceive, right?
Yeah. We didn't carry.
Right, it didn't carry. And so when you had Marley, that's the first child?
That was the first time we actually had. We had gotten pregnant prior to that in North Carolina, but she miscarried. And then before that were abortions.
Definitely. Have my condolences, totally. And so what made you decide, or y'all decide, to give birth to Marley?
Well, earlier in our years, we were just kids and we felt like we're being irresponsible if we bring them in, really thinking of ourselves at that time, not thinking about, the God factor or anything like that. So by the time we got to North Carolina, it did take a toll on her, even those experiences. And, for me, my whole stance was, even though we created this together, it's your body that has to carry it. So whatever you want, I'm on. And in North Carolina, we wanted it, but she miscarried. So when Marley came about, it was like, it's game time if we can actually carry. It really wasn't even much of a discussion. The moment, we weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but the moment she let me know, I told her, you ain't got to do this alone. Like, I hope you know I'm all in. And I was. Every doctor's visit, I didn't miss one. I told her she didn't have to work and I was going to take on every bill, and I did. So she didn't work from that point until we divorced, or I filed for divorce. But that was my whole mindset.
You said all in was we're in a relationship at this point? Or
no, when I mean all in, I was still not thinking we could work in a relationship. I also
but
hadn't
you're gonna
really
be a present father.
I'm absolutely.
Yeah.
Because probably more than I wanted to be a husband, man, I wanted a family. I wanted to be a dad.
Because of what you were lacking growing up.
That was my major pain point.
Yep.
I don't have my daddy. And I remember vividly asking the questions to my mama. She's trying to answer best she can, but feeling away when I saw this and that. I'm like, one day when I get my baby boy, I'm not going to miss anything. So when she told me that, I really got excited, but I also wanted her to know she had my full support regardless of our relationship status. So every gynecologist, I went to the little classes to teach you how to massage her while she on that Pilates ball.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's game time. I bought books, but we had not sealed up the relationship exactly. So some time passed, and I think we had a little argument where she was like, if you don't be with me or something like that,
I'm not gonna let you see your kid.
I'm gonna take the baby off the grid.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, that's that weapon that a lot of women use to weaponize their children towards the man. And I hate that with a passion personally. It's not cute. Women gotta stop doing that crap, you know. If it was that bad, you would have automatically gave birth and would have left the man already. Stop playing. Don't play them type of games, man. You get me? But they do this constantly, you know. And it makes it seem like it's something that you're doing something special. So that tells you want to cause dysfunction towards the family and just automatically just don't let the father see the child out. Women understand that when they do that, they actually damage their children in the long run. When they do that, because you have having like a agreement or whatever, you go on the side. So let me just go away and take the child, and that's it. No, man, I don't respect that. But you know, that's modern black women for you today, or modern women in general. But very use.
And it shook me into I had to talk about that again because my mind is, oh, she would never do something like that.
Yep.
But she was like, oh, I was just upset.
She said, I'm gonna take the baby, move with my mom.
Yeah, but she said, I'll be off the grid where you can never even reach me. And I was like, okay, I never heard that before. But anyway, fast forward, it stuck with me, even though she said, I was just talking, I was just upset, you know, my pregnancy emotions. But I also, whenever she had found all that stuff, the videos and stuff, I was just like, man, you got to tighten up. You can't be on this. I don't like the example I'm about to set. At this point, I'm in my career. I'm talking about family values. So I was like, all right, time to cut the whole phase short, time to lock in. And I made my mind up like I'm going to propose to her. I'm going to give her some time to heal everything or whatever. But New Year's Eve, I planned it all out, started paying for the ring. I'm like, it's game time.
Why? Why'd you decide to marry her? What? Because at that point, was it led because of the pregnancy? Was it led out of true love for this woman? Is it led for, like, what initiated and made you say, this is my world that I'm in. I have this platform where I'm sharing this. I have this child coming, but I want to go ahead and marry this woman.
The platform impact was the least of it. With her in that time, even though she was pregnant, she actually was helping me with work a lot. My business was picking up, going crazy. You know, this is the first time, I think it was the first year I made 7 figures. And I'm in my 20s or whatever. And I'm like, I can trust her.
Yeah.
She was with me when I was broke. You know, whatever. It didn't happen over the years, but at least I know she doesn't want me for my money.
Yep.
And she's carrying my baby while helping me at work. If we can make the relationship work, I want to try. And this time, knowing what I know, because now I'm teaching the masses, I'm like, I know how I need to come. I need to secure her in terms of my intentions. Then that's where the marriage part comes in.
Yep.
So she knows I'm not playing no games. I got now the financial pieces there. So she already ain't working, but before Soft Life was cool, I was like, I don't want her to have to worry about anything financially.
Yep, she said that. She
I'm
said
all
that
in.
Financially, she was good.
Yeah, financially, because, you know, another pain point was I saw my mama struggling. And I always felt like if a man was here, she wouldn't be, you know, how she is, tired all the time and gone all the time. So 2 things I knew I wanted to do. I wanted to be a present father, and I wanted to take some weight off of my lady's shoulders. And from there, I was like, whatever. I think if I come in and I do my part, the rest is going to fall into place. But it don't work like that. I see, and I had to learn this in therapy, man. Like, as much as we know we cultivate a version of a woman, she exists outside of us.
Oh, of course.
Well, it's easy to say that,
yeah.
But then when you in it and you know that you're doing this, and this, because it wasn't just financial. If she called me at any time, I don't care. If she wanted me to run to a place and get her some food at 1 or 2 in the morning, it's like whatever. And I'm sitting there billing that into, that's going to produce a certain version of her. But that mindset didn't allow her to experience remaining trust issues with me. Postpartum depression.
Oh, yeah.
All of these different things they ain't got nothing to do with how I'm treating her.
Right.
So without considering that, man, I personalized everything going into even the engagement and on forward, man. So yeah, that was my thinking. Like, we gonna make this work no matter what. But we still had not properly set the foundation, reset it from all of the years past.
And when you decide to marry her, you made up in your mind, I am done with all these women. This is my wife. I'm going to be an honest man that covers my wife properly.
When I made up to just get engaged with her, I had burnt all the bridges.
Oh, you did?
But the thing was, with me, my boundaries were loose at
Explain.
best.
Because people need to understand I had bad boundaries when I was married. So I just want to hear what you consider a bad boundary.
So I may have a woman that I slept with before, even in our singleness. I may have a woman I have sexual history with before. And I have no problem carrying on small talk. That's one boundary.
Right.
Going out where I knew somebody else was going to be there, That's a loose boundary. It's like, you know, somebody that you had sexual history with is at this place. There was one situation where a girl that I had some sexual history with, she did some work down in Atlanta, so she was flying in way before she had asked me to like give her some books or something like that. And I kept that commitment to meet up with her and give her books instead of telling her like, you know, or just telling her, no, things have changed since the last time. So these are the types of things that I didn't notice until way later, Danae would see or have whatever and have problem with.
Of course.
Because even if a girl is hitting me up saying, D, you know, my mom loves your stuff. My colleague, you know, is a fan of yours. And I reply like, oh man, thanks. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. You know, hope everything is well. Danae sees that out the corner of her eye or when she goes to my phone and says he's talking to women.
Yep.
Wow, man. Hold on. Damn, Ish, you effing up the bag. Did you catch that, Hustler?
Okay, so let me understand something. After going through his so-called whole phase and allowing her to be free to date whoever, he's finally ready to settle down with her. But unfortunately, I guess you know what they say, sometimes your past has ways of catching up to you. So I guess them past sad chicks, the chicks he had in the past, now they're blowing up his phone trying to reach out to him. Is that what's going on here?
Well, what is known is like, you know, when he goes to events and then he's, you know, selling his products, his books and stuff, right? And he signed autographs. Him just having the conversation with a few of his fans, loyal fans, it was a problem for Danae.
Wow, sounds like some jealousy.
It's like she look at it as a form of flirting and a form of cheating, from what I'm getting. But what do you expect? Because she already knows she accepts you screwing other women, which really it's audacity for women to say you cheating. No, you already accept me doing this. So you sit down and you shut the hell up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on. The guy was already going through his whole phase before he even met Denia. So what you expect? That's kind of like you going to a bar or club, meeting a 304, and then you want to get all in your feelings when she's talking to other men, whether these men could be friends, you know, or not. You know, you speculate that because you know she got a pass of some sort, you know? Same thing with Derrick. He got a pass of some sort. So, of course, you're going to speculate all of this. But it was her choice to deal with this man, so she got to bear the consequences.
Let's keep listening. Fair use.
So for somebody who hasn't healed, it's triggering all over again. But in my mind, I ain't smashing these women. For every woman that I'm even having a loose boundary with, I'm curving women 10 times more. So on into engagement, that was the first time I was like, okay, I don't know if I can do this. Because at this point, man, I done got her books. I got a therapist because I'm not getting the version of her I think I'm supposed to get. I'm faithful. I'm provisional. I'm still asking about what we can do to fill up her love tank, but she's hostile. She's closed off. At times, she's emasculating with how she talks. Of course, the sex is not even close to being there. And then she said, well, we need to go to counseling.
That's where I'm glad you went right there. And then what happened in counseling? Because that's where she said she revealed, this is before y'all got married, right? And this is where she revealed I had been raped before, right? In this counseling session, that this happened. When did she mention that she has saw stuff in your phone and all that stuff? Was that in this counseling session?
No, she already had told me in real life she had saw the stuff, but this is where we're going to deep dive through all those things. And at first I was reluctant, I ain't gonna lie to you, man, because it's like, why is the relationship only in trouble when you're unhappy? Why is it that I've been telling you stuff, I'm not getting what I need, I'm paying for personal trainers to help fix your self-esteem so you can get back in shape, I'm paying for the therapist, the books, the podcast, I'm doing everything, rubbing feet, backs, everything, and it's not enough, and I'm hurt by that, but then whenever you feel upset, now you're ready to save the relationship. So I was reluctant at first, I ain't gonna lie, but I'm like, I'm engaged now, we got a little baby, let's do this. Let's go to counseling.
Was already born at this point?
Yeah, Marley's already there. She was there like maybe 8 months old. She was very young. And then the counselor, and this was kind of really made it tough for me to continue on, he immediately went into rescuer mode. Danae is a lot better at accessing her emotions, especially painful emotions, than I ever have been. So me and her together, I'm big and I'm extroverted. I can talk a little bit. She's a soft voice and, just looked like she just been held in a basement or something like that. So we going and talking, and immediately she goes in about all the hard things I had done in the previous relationship. So me, ignorant, I never considered all the previous because I'm like, hold on, in between time we single, you've been dating.
Yeah.
I'm thinking especially because she got her lick back.
Yeah.
She got her lick back. And I mean, call me what you want, bro. I still feel to an extent. Once you get your lick back and you even the score,
we even.
I don't want to. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you went and one of the guys, and I don't know if she slept with him or nothing like that, but it was one of my homies. She knowingly did that. I did that to make you upset. She went for guitar lessons and learned everything she needed to know in one night. But I was like, okay, well, my chest hurt just like your chest.
Learned everything you need to know in one night.
But I'm like, you wasn't bad for doing that. Anybody would be, first off, on timing. Then secondly, to make me, you know what I'm saying? My chest hurt just like hers did.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So when we in this counseling session, back to here.
Hello, positive vibes. How you doing?
Wow.
Hold on. Positive vibes. You in the chat room? Come up. The line is open. What you about to say, Hustler Musler?
I was gonna say, so Denia slept with one of his best friends just to get back at Derrick. I kind of mentioned that earlier. Let one of his best friends get at her just to make him jealous, just so she can make him feel hurt. I guess the same kind of hurt she felt when she saw him talking to other women doing his little, I don't know, book signings or whatever, signing books for fans or whatever. So no, they sound like two toxic individuals trying to get over on each other. And you know what they say, opposites will attract. You know, Derrick Jaxn is more talkative, extroverted, outgoing, and confident, while Denia seems more, confident in her own right, but she seems more, I don't know, introverted, laid back, and more conservative type. So this is nothing new. You see opposites attract all the time, and I have no problem with opposites attracting, but I think this is a complete, I want to say a mismatch, but at the same time, when you consider how toxic both of them are, maybe it's a match made in heaven, or maybe it's a match made in hell. I don't know. You be the judge. I'll let the audience be the judge of this.
Well, one thing is evident that they're made for each other, which is, I would totally agree. That's why they lasted to this long, and I think they probably still screwing on the side, because let's be honest, when Denia came out first time to tell her side of the story, she was promoting a class, maybe a book or something in regards to Derrick Jaxn, because she said she's gonna need some money, so she need to promote herself now, put herself out there. I mean, it's weird at the end of the day, but let's hold on. Oh, it's almost done, so let's keep going. Fair use.
2017. She going in, and I'm in the present of all the things I've been doing. It's the first time I've come this hard for the relationship ever. And, financial aspect and the security. I got down on one knee. I can't do no more than what I've done. But she talking about me like I'm a dog. And the only thing that exists is all the negatives. I ain't done a single positive, So he not only allowed her to say that, he said, now you got this hard voice with me already. I ain't even said nothing. You don't say a word. Not until y'all come back on another session. So it was tough because I'm like, man, my feelings are obsolete the moment that she talked. And she crying and everything, so I get it. But I'm like, man, this ain't it for somebody who already deals with shame, wounds, abandonment, all this other stuff. We did do like one more session. And in that time, I found out she was texting the personal trainer under a woman's name. She had been searching them on Facebook. She had lied about some other stuff. So after that, bro, and she went and said some things that weren't true in the counseling. I didn't even want to go no more.
You just say, I'm not going.
No, because I felt like, you're not even approaching this genuinely. And at this point, I was questioning if I wanted to go through with the marriage.
I was about to ask you. So y'all still, but you didn't end the engagement.
Didn't end anything. A big repetitive pattern of I'm pissed, I'm detached, I'm mentally checking out, I'm going to show up as the worst version of myself, but I ain't letting you go. So that's a little bit of ego. It's a little bit of abandonment wounds, whatever you want to call it. We both didn't let each other go, no matter how much we was detaching.
That's interesting. I want to stop part one right here.
I'm gonna stop right here as well. This. Yeah. He shouldn't have went through with the marriage. If it was that problematic during the what do you call it, the counseling stage, it's evident that, brother, you should use your more third, or you should use your common sense, your head, not your little head or wherever below. You should have really said it. F it, screw it, not going through. I think.
I mean, either that or just continue dealing with Denia on the side instead of trying to commit to her because clearly they're both unstable in their own ways.
Yeah, very unstable. This is an unstable couple. I mean, I understand why most dudes will go through with it because say I might as well do right. You know, she is having my baby, so I might as well have the marriage so that way I'm giving some context and saying that we didn't have this out of wedlock, so I'm doing right. But be honest with you, doing right is always a good thing.
I mean, there's more than one way to do right. I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
I understand he had a baby by her, and this is where I got to put the blame on both of them because I've always said time and time again, anytime kids are involved, and not only is it the fault of the woman, but it's the fault of the man as well. It's Ania's fault because she allowed this man to slide into her raw and unprotected, but at the same time, it's Derrick's fault because he should have wrapped it up if he wasn't trying to be no father. Now that he is a father to her child, he got to do something. He got to step up. That would be the righteous thing to do. But the thing about it is I think people nowadays are getting married without putting the man upstairs in the center, in the forefront, like we did back in the day. It's either one, a personal goal, a personal checkoff list, or they just don't want to be single and by themselves playing the field for the rest of their lives. Trust me, I struggle with that mindset a lot. I don't want to be 40 years old playing the field, messing with different women. So why not just get married? But then when I hear bullshit like this popping off, I'm like, okay, I better just stay single. When I hear horror story after story of marriages falling apart because they did it for all the wrong reasons, that's when I just snap back into reality. Logic kick back in once again.
And another thing, my thing is this. And I like that when you said, once you get to a certain age, you don't want to be constantly on this playing the field on this hamster wheel. If you're able to get woman to woman, the road has to stop eventually. You get me? And I know there's some dudes that's probably maybe 40 and still screwing around here, and I think it's all cool. But I'm saying there's every point in life where you have to really say, all right, I gotta really settle in. Now, I gotta settle in. It don't make sense. As I'm getting older, it's like you're gonna deal with the same bull crap. Why bother? Just find some chick that really you could deal and rock with, or on your program, etc., and try to make some life. I think with Derrick and Denia, they have an on and off relationship, and we all know how this plays. Once you've been going on and off, what happens? You have no sense of identity or sense of purpose of why you're in it in the first place. So continue to go back and forth is suicide at this point, And I think Derrick was playing a very dangerous game with Denia, She's very manipulative. You're manipulative. Yeah, both are. And I don't like these. Not like this word because I'm not a psychotherapist. I would derails here. That you can't do this. If you go into the counselor and she's sitting there telling lies or wherever she's trying to put out to the counselor, we all know they're going to take her side than you as a man, and you're going to just tap out, and she just testing your buttons. That was evident if during that whole session. Right there, you should have pulled the plug. Because if she was giving you a hard time like that, what do you think is going to happen when you actually in a contractual marriage in the state of Georgia? Which that it's mostly predominant women. You're going to be eaten up in the court system. And I think Derrick don't really care at this point, Hustler. I think he just want to wash his hands and keep pushing. And to those that don't know, part 2 or volume 2 of this, it's going to go more in the more darker side of Derrick, which y'all might not like to hear or see, but we got to go there in the next episode of Chaos Rain Show. So, stay tuned. Lena's gone. I don't know why you're gone, Lena. Come back, Lena. I'm gonna come out wait for you a little bit. But you have any closing remarks, Hustler? Hello, Hustler, you there? Any closing remarks?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess as closing remarks, sheesh. Yeah. Now we understand why Derrick is the way he is, and based on everything we heard from that interview, I don't know. It just seemed like chaos from the beginning. Think of it like this. Hey, have you ever seen a movie that was so bad and so horrendous, but then you look at the behind the scenes footage and then it's like, well, I can see why this film turned to a total disaster. The buildup was horrible. The setup was horrible. The casting was just all over the place. So many script rewrites and rewrites after rewrites. And no wonder the film turned to a total clusterfuck. That's kind of like how this marriage would say Derrick Jaxn and Denia was.
Mm-hmm.
All the buildup, all the nonsense they put each other through, all the toxicity. It was building up. It was building up to be a bad marriage from the beginning. From the looks of things, it was just building up to this point. So it's no wonder. Again, they're just two toxic people trying to get over on each other and outdo one another. You know, he was dating around, she was dating around, she had issues, psychological issues of her own, and I guess he wanted her to work through them issues on his terms so they can be a family together instead of helping her build through it, take her time and help her get through it. So he was just only out for himself in those regards, and Denia was no better. Shoot. Seemed like she was just trying to snag this high value man and would do anything to snag this high value man, even if it meant letting one of his best friends smash him just to make him jealous. So
it comes with the territory. Comes with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once you're a man, you're that so-called, you're that Negro. Everything is given to you without much work. We'll leave it on that. Thank you for coming up, Mr. Hustle and Musker.
Not a problem.
All right. You gotta look out for the next live stream. All right, brother. All right, take care. All right, guys. This is it for tonight's stream. How can I say this? Derrick Jaxn, how can I say it? He is who he is. He's telling you and giving you the confessions of what led and built to what you see today. Now, a lot of people are going to continue to do reactions and content on this, and they're going to even go as far as say this man's a complete liar. I look at as, you know, is a testimony of the past, the present, where we stand, and the potential future where he'll go. To me, if I was said anything to him or gave him some honest advice, and I know he might be a Christian man, possibly, and all that stuff, I would say, bro, create OnlyFans, do your nastiness on OnlyFans, and make your money. I think you're not living your truth. It's evident. It's very evident. The stories of the amount of women you're what they call you're slaying, and I mean literally slaying. It's ridiculous. You talking about you one time say you're faithful, next you're cheating. Which one is it? You can't do both. Either you want to stay in it and curve a lot of women so they don't, you know, tempt you to give them the Bama pipe, or you're just going to give them the goods and blow their backs out. The choice is yours, sir. The choice is yours. The links to follow me are following. Follow me on Twitter at ChaosRain7. Also, add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. Join my Rumble page. As you know, Rumble is, I put in the chat room. Follow me, add me on Rumble. As you know, I don't even go so hard, which could allow me, but I want to go harder on other platforms. You feel me? So with your help, please, guys, subscribe to my Rumble page. You know, I'll surely appreciate it. You know, and let me see, where's my Rumble page? I'm gonna find it now so I can give it to y'all. Where is my Rumble? Where is Rumble? 1 second, guys. I'm gonna find it. Oh, here it is. Subscribe to my Rumble page, guys. I'm gonna put it right one more time in the chat room. And like always, join the Discord service of the Chaos Reign Show as well. And those are all the links to follow me. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Leave a comment at the end of this video. Give me a like or smash like button on your way in, on your way out. And please share this video. I mean, I said some things, some lewd things, but it's all good love. And I had to be honest here because, like I said, this is his confessions of a Bama pipe. Until next time, let it chaos. Ring.